You feel guilty about something you said, didn't do, should have done differently. That feeling in your chest, heavy, gnawing. But what is that feeling? Where does it come from? Why does your body produce this specific sensation when you do wrong? And who decided what wrong means anyway? It's your conscience, people say. It's knowing you violated your values. These are just labels. They describe nothing. They explain nothing. Nietzsche looked at guilt and saw something nobody wanted to admit, a weapon that got turned inward. The reason you feel guilty has nothing to do with morality. It's about what happens when you can't hit back. Everyone says guilt is a moral feeling, your conscience speaking, knowing right from wrong. You feel bad because you did bad. But this is circular. It assumes bad exists independently, floating out there somewhere. And it doesn't explain the mechanism. Why this particular sensation? Why the self-punishment? Why does your chest tighten? Why does your mind loop back, attacking you over and over? Let's be honest. Strip away the comfortable story. Humans are animals, aggressive, territorial, violent animals. For millennia, the pattern was simple. You hurt someone, they hurt you back. Direct, immediate, a punch for a punch, a kill for a kill. Then civilization arrives. Suddenly there are rules, laws, punishment for violence. The state monopolizes violence. You can't hit back anymore. You can't destroy your enemy. Someone wrongs you? You take them to court. You file a complaint. You swallow it. The aggressive instinct doesn't disappear. It has nowhere to go. Nietzsche saw this clearly. All instincts that do not discharge themselves outwardly turn inward. The beast that can't claw outward claws inward. So where does that energy go? The violence you direct at others, you redirect at yourself. Self-punishment, self-hatred, self-torture? That gnawing feeling? That's you attacking you. Nietzsche calls it bad conscience. The birth of guilt. Not moral evolution. Psychological mutation. Look at cultures without strong states, tribal societies, immediate revenge, blood feuds, direct violence, minimal guilt, maximum external conflict. Modern society? Suppressed external violence, massive internal guilt, depression epidemics, anxiety disorders, self-loathing as default mode. Actually, not just modern. This started with the first civilizations, Rome, Greece, early Christianity. Whenever you cage the animal, this happens. But wait, if guilt is just redirected aggression, why does it feel moral? Why does it feel like you're responding to objective wrongness? Here's where Nietzsche gets fascinating. He traces guilt to something older than morality: debt. The German word Schuld means both guilt and debt. Not a coincidence, same origin. In primitive societies, if you harm someone, you owe them. Literal debt. Payment in goods, animals, labor. Can't pay? They take pain from you. Your suffering becomes their compensation. Makes perfect sense to them. You made me suffer, now I make you suffer, we're even. Cruelty as currency. Ancient law codes, Hammurabi's Code, the Roman 12 tables, all based on this equivalence. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Not metaphor. Literal exchange rates for body parts. An eye was worth X amount, a tooth worth Y. Calculated, precise, but then watch what happens when the debt shifts. What happens when the debt is to society? To God? You can't pay back society. You can't compensate God. The debt becomes unpayable, so you pay forever in guilt. Christianity perfected this mechanism. Original sin. You're born already in debt. Christ paid with his blood, but you still owe. Eternal debt, eternal guilt, eternal self-punishment. And here's the twist. Guilt isn't moral insight. It's internalized debt collection. You're the creditor and debtor simultaneously, extracting payment from yourself forever. Now ask the dangerous question. Who wants you to feel guilty? Not morality in the abstract. Actual people, actual institutions. The church benefits enormously. Guilty people need salvation, pay tithes, obey authority. The state benefits. Guilty citizens police themselves, don't rebel, report their own transgressions. Your family benefits. Guilty children conform, seek approval, stay small. Nietzsche's provocation. Guilt is a tool, used by the weak to control the strong. Can't defeat you physically? Make you defeat yourself. Take early Christians under Rome. Powerless. They can't fight the empire. They can't match Roman military strength. So what do? They declare, actually, strength is bad. Power is sin. Meekness is virtue. Genius reversal. They make the powerful feel guilty for their power. The mechanism spreads. You're successful, must be exploitation, feel guilty. You're happy, others are suffering, feel guilty. You want things, that's selfish, feel guilty. The ambitious, the strong, the life-affirming, all made to feel wrong for being what they are. And it worked. We internalized it completely. Most people today can't even imagine not feeling guilty about success. Nietzsche calls this resentiment. Resentment that ferments, that becomes creative. The weak can't defeat the strong directly, so they poison the well. They redefine good and evil. Complete inversion. Old aristocratic values, strength, courage, pride, power, these are good. Weakness, humility, suffering, these are merely unfortunate, bad. New priestly values, weakness, humility, suffering, these become good, blessed, holy. Strength, pride, power, these become evil, sinful, corrupted. Historical proof? Look at the Jewish priestly class versus Roman nobility. The priests, physically weak, politically powerless. The Romans, military dominance, total political control. The priests can't win by force. So they declare, the meek shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the poor in spirit. The last shall be first. They make suffering into virtue. They make power into sin. Nietzsche's observation. This is brilliant strategy. Can't beat them in combat? Make them beat themselves. Install guilt as their operating system. Now the powerful voluntarily limit themselves. They feel bad about their strength. They apologize for their success. They handicap themselves. Not a conscious conspiracy, understand? The priests genuinely believed it, mostly. But belief doesn't change the function. The result is the same whether intentional or not. Which raises the uncomfortable question, is all morality just this? Just resentment dressed up? Nietzsche says there are two types of morality, fundamentally different. Master morality, created by the strong. Good equals what we are, powerful, healthy, proud, courageous. Bad equals what we're not, weak, sick, timid, small. Not a moral judgment, an aesthetic distinction. Lions don't feel guilty for eating gazelles. They're being lions, slave, morality, created by the weak. Good equals what protects us, humility, equality, pity, self-sacrifice. Evil equals what threatens us, pride, hierarchy, strength, self-assertion. This is moral judgment laced with resentment. It needs the powerful to feel guilty. Modern morality? Almost entirely slave morality. We've completely forgotten that master morality ever existed. Watch an ambitious person achieve something. What do they say? I know I'm privileged. I know others have less. I feel bad that... Why? Why apologize for excellence, for achieving? Because slave morality infected them, made them feel guilty for being strong. Even social justice movements, often just slave morality. Not celebrating the weak becoming strong, punishing the strong for being strong. Not elevation. Equalization through guilt. What if we stopped feeling guilty? What would happen? Imagine you wake up tomorrow and guilt is gone. Completely. You do what you want, no internal punishment, no self-flagellation. What happens? The common fear, chaos, murder, rape, total destruction. Without guilt, we'd be monsters. Wrong. That's what they want you to think, the threat that keeps you caged. Reality check. Do you not murder people because of guilt? Or because you don't want to murder? Most people have zero desire to kill. The guilt is redundant, except it makes you small. What you'd actually do without guilt? Pursue your ambitions unapologetically. Stop apologizing for joy, for success, for desire. Create without self-sabotage. Say no without elaborate justification. Take up space. The uncomfortable truth Nietzsche saw. Guilt doesn't prevent evil. It prevents bigness. It prevents you from becoming what you could be. Remember, guilt is internalized violence. The question isn't, what if I had no morality? The question is, what if I stopped attacking myself? But here's the obvious objection. So we shouldn't feel bad when we hurt people? Nietzsche makes a crucial distinction. Feeling bad is not the same as guilt. Regret? Fine. Natural response. I wish I hadn't done that. I see the harm. I'll do differently next time. Clean. Forward-moving. Productive. Guilt is different. I'm a bad person for doing that. I deserve to suffer. I'm terrible, worthless, fundamentally flawed. Self-flagellation. Backward-looking, circular, completely unproductive. The trap. Guilt actually prevents repair. You're too busy punishing yourself to fix the situation. Guilt is self-indulgent. It focuses on your badness, your unworthiness, not on the other person's actual harm. Better approach: acknowledge the harm, make amends where possible, change your behavior going forward. No self-torture required. No, I'm such a terrible person performance. Just, I did this. It hurt you. Here's what I'll do differently. And watch what happens. People drowning in guilt, do they actually change? Often no. They just feel bad. Repeatedly. They wallow. People who skip the guilt, focus on action, they actually improve. They fix things. The realization, guilt is a substitute for change, not a catalyst for it. So what's Nietzsche's vision? The sovereign individual. Someone beyond guilt, beyond resentment. Someone who creates their own values instead of inheriting slave morality's pre-packaged judgments. Not a psychopath who harms without feeling, but someone who decides consciously what matters, what creates, what increases life. Doesn't need guilt's whip. Acts from strength, not from fear of internal punishment. The criteria shifts completely. Not, will I feel guilty? Not, what will people think? But does this action increase life, power, growth? Does it create? An artist makes controversial work. Slave morality asks, is this offensive? Should I feel bad about potentially upsetting people? Master morality asks, is this true? Does this create something real? Different operating system entirely. The danger Nietzsche sees. We're becoming smaller, more guilty, more apologetic, more self-limiting, comfortable, safe, tiny. He calls it the last man, the final stage of humanity, where everyone is equal because everyone has made themselves equally small. No one stands out, no one risks, no one creates anything that might offend. What he wants, overcome guilt. Become who you actually are, not who guilt tells you to be. Here's what disturbs most people about Nietzsche. He's not saying guilt is true but uncomfortable. He's not saying, yes, you're bad, but accept it anyway. He's saying guilt is false, constructed, chosen. We invented our own cage, internalized our oppressors, made ourselves small, and then, here's the disturbing part, we called it virtue. We praised ourselves for it. I'm so conscientious. I feel so guilty. That proves I'm good. The implication. Everything you feel guilty about, examine it. Who actually benefits from your guilt? What are you not doing because of it? What would you create if you stopped? The hardest part is admitting you've been had. The moral framework you trusted, that you thought was protecting you, it's a control mechanism. Your conscience isn't some pure internal voice of truth. It's trained, programmed. Your guilt isn't serving you, it's serving someone else's interests. Nietzsche's challenge cuts deep. What if everything you call good is actually making you weaker? What if your virtues are chains? Circle back to where we started. That feeling in your chest. That heavy, gnawing guilt. Now you see what it actually is. Not moral truth speaking. Not objective wrongness manifesting in your body. It's internalized violence. The beast that can't strike outward, clawing at itself. It's debt you can never pay, extracted forever. It's a tool that keeps you small, prevents you from becoming dangerous, from becoming powerful, from becoming fully yourself. So what do you do with this knowledge? Keep feeling guilty because it's comfortable, familiar, because everyone around you operates on guilt too? Or risk becoming someone who doesn't need that particular cage? Nietzsche doesn't offer a clean answer. He just shows you the mechanism. What you do with it, that's on you. That's the test. Next question. If guilt is learned, programmed, trained into you, what else did they teach you to feel? What other emotions serve functions you haven't examined? That's a different investigation. I'll stop here.